Okay, we left off 642. He had spoken about a person who violated a law, which doesn't have the liability of koris. He says that person, when he does tshuva for the rest of his life, he always has this sense of guilt, of remorse, of pain, because of what he had done. It's something like it's unconscionable what he had done. Person never sinned. So the one who sinned and did tshuva, although he's about tshuva, because he repented on the losase, he's at a more advanced level than the tzaddik who never sinned. Why? I was going to explain this. He surpasses the tzaddik. Saying something interesting. Let's say a person, he has no skeletons in his closet. It's interesting. The Gemara says, Shaul sinned once and he was dethroned. David sinned many times and he wasn't dethroned. Why? So the Gemara says that David had kupas shrotzim b'tzavoro. He had a box of rodents hanging around his neck. He had skeletons in his closet. Shaul did not. David, who did he come from? Came from converts, from a convert. Person there, he has a certain degree of what? Of consciousness. You know, I have to be more careful. Because I know I have certain Achilles heels, I have to be more careful. Shaul was pure. He was a pure man. When you're that pure, you fall all the way. It's all the precautions to take, because you're concerned you may fail, you don't take those precautions. David, because of his background, where he came from, and what he was, he took and he always was conscious of how careful he has to be. We'll see.
Wouldn't you say that sin through personal sins?
Okay. Yeah, but I'm just telling what the Gemara says. Okay. But I'm just bringing down that he says, person never sins. He's more susceptible to priding himself regarding the good that he does. See, he doesn't have anything to keep him in check. The person already had failed. He doesn't have the ability to pride himself because he's still dealing with his failing. So he has something which tempers his ego. He always has the past to keep him in check. The tzaddik would never sin. Well, what keeps him in check? He does everything right, so he's susceptible. He's vulnerable to what? To gaiva, to priding and pompousness.
The person who's about tshuva. Well, I think experience, but also I was told once that you shouldn't revisit your old behavior, your old habits. I mean, you can do tshuva further, but once you've done the tshuva, move on. Like, you don't go around saying, gee, I remember what...
But who are we talking about over here? We're talking about a person who's basically a tzaddik. He did the wrong thing. So, for a tzaddik, when he does the wrong thing, it's different than a person who's a bal tshuva, not religious, becomes observant. I realize he's not agonizing over the past. Right. To be at that very advanced level, you have to agonize over the past. But why were you told to just move on? Because if you start going back to the past, right, you may not go forward. But if a person really is a tzaddik, and he failed, and now he does tshuva on the failing, I mean, he has what it takes to deal with that issue. But because he always has this remorse and this shame that he carries, is not going to allow him to become, his ego is not going to become inflated because of that. Years ago, I once heard, when I first came to Fifth Avenue Synagogue, that's also, I remember that keeps me in check. So David understands that. So there was a European Jew. He was a doctor, Holocaust. He went maybe a Holocaust survivor. So he said, "Don't think you're so great because you're not that small." You understand? You know, people, they behave humbly. That's greatness. Don't think you're so great, because you're not that small. You know, even though you play the game of humility, you're not what you think you are. Yeah. Ukvar nemar ki ishchet b'shemo l'shov Yosef mikol tzedakos hatzadik. There's a sin that is beneficial than all the righteousness of the tzaddik. V'yesh tzedakos shemazekas latzadik Yosef mikol chatos hashov. And there's even an act of righteousness which damages the tzaddik more than all the sins that the penitent had done. Kishiyafana libo ben aknio. Hear this? If the person goes and he is out of touch with humility or submission, v'dovik begeus, and he allows himself to be associated with geus, with pompousness, ubachonef, and has relevance to flattery. He enjoys to be flattered, to be praised. V'avas hashevach. He glows when people praise him, but he hasn't done anything where he's a tzaddik. He does everything right. A person who allows himself to go to that locate to that, he says to his students, the tzaddik, if you would not have sins, he said, I'd be worried about you. Because if you have no sin, you have to worry, because you begin priding yourself and you begin resting on your laurels, and you feel secure when you're not really. And when you start feeling secure, that's when you first become vulnerable. And that's when you fail. The Mesilas Yesharim writes that he cites tzaddikim in the Navi, where they were really tzaddikim, one of the kings, and they praised him to the hilt. And because of all the praise that they praised him, eventually became a Rasha. Because he speaks about how careful you have to be to shun praise. People praise you, you have to try to deflect it. Because if you allow it to resonate within you, and you really glow in it, it could actually start undermining everything you have. Not because you don't believe it. It's true. What they say, maybe, we're not talking about false flattery. True. It's not a good thing to hear. We had the Gemara in Sanhedrin. The Gemara said in Sanhedrin says that during the regel, they would take the Torah sages, and they would carry him above the crowd to the location up front where they would say the lecture for the Yom Tov. So you know what kind of prize? You have thousands of people, they're carrying you over the crowd, like in a sedan chair. Like, you know, with the Maharajas in India, they used to carry them, right? That was that kind of thing. So the Amoraim, Rav Shmuel, they would say, I'm nothing. I'm a heap of dung. While they were giving all this cover, this honor, and this praise, I'm nothing, I'm filth, I'm dirt. That's what they would say about themselves. To counter the praise, because they were concerned how that praise is going to affect their lives. To be continued.